This is the second part of the second video in regards to the eero. So I kind of set it up here in the living room and I'm trying to explain to my wife the benefits of the new eero system. She hasn't heard the price because she'd be pretty shocked with that. But what I'm doing is I'm actually using to interview her, or actually tell her the new improvements. Since she's not into this at all, if I can get her to understand, then you guys watching will also understand it. So this is kind of like a 101. I'm no expert. I don't play one on TV or anything. This is just my view and my version of what the Wi-Fi 6 upgrade is. So I'm coming in my home. I have the Orbi system. On the Orbi, I have the main base unit, and I literally have another 7 satellites. I just went a little overboard. I bought them used. I got them at a very good price. So I just wanted to see if I can add more than 4 Orbis, and I could. If I look at the app, you'll see I can see the additional Orbi satellites, and that's working just fine. The thing is that now that it's November of 2020, everyone's home and we're kind of all using Zoom and all this other stuff. And the issue we're having, it's not speed, it's latency. So do you know what latency is, honey?
No, it's slowing?
Yeah, it's just slowing. So sometimes you'll click on a page and it'll say error 401 or 404. And many times it does that because the request took too long. So the speed is fine, but it's just taking too long. So the way I like to explain latency is going on the regular supermarket line or going on the express line. That's the difference. They're both just as fast. If you have one person in front of you, they just, have the same amount of lane space and the same area you're traveling to, except that one is express, which means there's less items to look over than there is on the regular line, which is going to take longer. So the express line may take you 2 minutes to get out or to pay for your items, whereas the non-express line might take you 10 minutes. So Wi-Fi 6 is looking to improve latency, and many of the issues we have here now with the kids and zooming and videoing and all that other stuff is latency. So sometimes we get problems. Now, the handoff also, we have the Orbi Wi-Fi system that has they have a tri-band also. So the way their tri-band works is that they have a backhaul signal or wireless signal, which allows the main unit and the satellites to communicate with each other separate from the data signal. So it has one 2.4 gigahertz signal, one 5 gigahertz signal, and one backhaul signal, which you don't see at all. It's a dedicated signal between themselves. But this unit here, the eero, doesn't have that. But I was looking to upgrade to see if we can fix our latency issue. Even though the Orbi is working really, really well, and I like it a lot, and it is a mesh unit, I was interested in looking at the 6 gigahertz, the new system, the new Wi-Fi system. So back in the day, you used to have systems recognized as this. You had them identified as 802.11a, 802.11b, and so on. There was no naming convention. Those numbers with those letters at the end would give you the speed and the information in regards to the connection. So back in the day when Wi-Fi first came out, several years ago, a long time ago, we used to have 802.11a or 802.11a/b, which was, I don't even know, 12 megabits. It was a slow speed.
Okay.
So the people who create this Wi-Fi information, what they decided to do was to simplify it so that when you see 802.11 whatever on the box when you're buying something at Best Buy, you're not totally confused and you're wondering, what does that mean? Am I correct?
Okay.
So now they made it real simple. They just call it Wi-Fi 5. So 802.11 AC is Wi-Fi 5, which is 3.5 gigabits per second in speed, theoretical speed. Doesn't mean it is that fast, but it supposedly can go up to that speed wirelessly.
And that's the old one?
That's the one we use now. Everybody's using that pretty much now. Then there are Wi-Fi 4, Wi-Fi 3, which is the slower ones. Okay. 802.11n, 802.11ab, so, and lower than that. Now we're at Wi-Fi 6, which is called 802.11ax. That's the technical term for it. And Wi-Fi 6 has a theoretical speed of 9.6 gigabits per second, which is, as you can see, 3 to 4 times as fast. So also Wi-Fi 6, I'm simplifying it here, but Wi-Fi 6 has a lot of other background things that it does. Lower latency, better throughput, better smarts. Also, Wi-Fi 6 right now is using the 5 gigahertz spectrum band, which is just a signal. It's a higher bandwidth signal that you use, but it's using it more efficiently. And in the future, there's going to be, instead of 5 gigahertz, a 6 gigahertz spectrum, which they're working on, which is going to be like super fast.
And I'm sorry, what does the gigabits per second indicate?
The speed, the amount for downloads and stuff.
Okay.
Where it's just the higher number, the higher the speed. Back in the day, we had dial-up, AOL dial-up, and that was 56 kilobits per second. Okay. So gigabits is just a measurement of what do you call that? A measurement of size. How much you can download per second.
Using the Wi-Fi.
Using the Wi-Fi or anything of that speed. Back in the day, we were kilobits per second, this is probably like 1,000 times faster. So remember AOL and You Got Mail and all that other stuff. Another feature of Wi-Fi 6, which they're increasing, which is great if you have those people that drive by and hack your Wi-Fi. They have now WPA3. This is the encryption standard, the new one for Wi-Fi 6. The old one was WPA2, which is pretty good. I mean, people have hacked it, but it's not like something that everybody could hack. Supposedly, WPA3 is going to be so unhackable that even if they are able to get in, they still won't see. It works so well that they won't be able to see what they're hacking into. It's a lot of technical stuff in there, so it's pretty cool.
Okay.
So now I'm going to the eero. So again, the eero Pro 6 AX4200 tri-band Wi-Fi 6 mesh router system. I bought the 3-pack system, and again, I'm not telling her the price.
I already saw it.
So pretty much, oh, you did.
That's why I made that noise.
So this is basically everything that comes in, the information on it. So right now, our Orbi, honey, only has one 5 gigahertz signal. It's a tri-band, so it has 3 of them. So what it does is that most slow items use 2.4. Most of our phones and tablets right now use 5 gigahertz, okay? And it allows for back and forth for traffic, to move traffic back and forth on the higher bandwidth or higher speed wireless lines. So that's why you have 2 5 gigahertz, because that's the fastest. The backhaul on this is not like the Orbi. The Orbi, I believe you can't even, there's no Ethernet backhaul. It's all wireless. So there's a backhaul, there's an additional line that's dedicated to the communication between all 3 of these, or the additional satellites on the Orbi. With this thing, the backhaul technically uses some spectrum or some space to send its signal between each other, like IP addresses, and when you're moving from one location to another, that information should be going from here to there if you're going from this room to that room. And that's shared, I believe, on one of the 5 gigahertz lines on the eero.
What is backhaul?
So backhaul is what happens in the background to continue the communication between the devices.
Oh, okay.
So it's what allows you to go, let's say from this, if it's wirelessly connected, from here to that, to the Ethernet cable to the ISP. Do you understand? It's like what happens in the background for it to continue working.
Okay.
So you know how you make a phone call, you call someone, right? Mm-hmm. And then you hang up. That line is always up. Am I correct? Even though you connect and you make the phone call to your friend, the line comes up. But in order for that line to come up, there had to have been a line there. Do you understand? No? It's always in the background working.
Okay.
Letting you know where your cell phone is, how to connect to your friend if you call them.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's what happens in the background that has nothing to do with the devices or what you're trying to do. So that being said, the eero uses Ethernet backhaul, which I like, which means is that you see that Ethernet, that chair right there is simulating the ISP. So the setup's going to be the ISP to one of the eeros, and in that eero will become the main base unit, and all the other 3 eeros will just start communicating with it wirelessly. I'm going to also add another backhaul Ethernet connection to one of these to make the signal stronger. So what happens is, if this has an Ethernet cable for the backhaul for the ISP, and this has an Ethernet cable for the backhaul for communication to that device, this signal right here will just be dedicated for wireless information, which will take away the overhead of the 2 devices communicating wirelessly. That makes sense? No? It's really difficult. I hope you guys understand. That's why I brought my wife, so I'm trying to get that through. So hopefully you guys got that. I hope I'm not being too complicated. Sorry about that if I am. So, all right, let's move on. It's going to have a theoretical 6 gigahertz in the future, which is going to be much faster. Ethernet backhaul, which means you can actually physically plug in a cable for the devices to communicate with each other easier. That way it relieves the overhead on the actual wireless signals.
Okay.
Wi-Fi 6, 802.11x, better security, WPA3, 9.6 gigabits per second. Theoretical, I don't think you're gonna get that, but maybe in Wi-Fi 6, in the 6 gigahertz spectrum, maybe we'll get that. And it's a tri-band mesh. So tri-band and multiple connections. So this tri-band here is simulating the tri-band and the mesh, which is multiple communication points between the devices. Okay, you know a mesh, right?
Yeah, I get that one.
Okay, so that way there's not just one, device to another. So if back in the day we used to have what's called Wi-Fi extenders, I would suggest if you're using that, don't use it. It slows your network down to a crawl. So Wi-Fi extenders, if you set one up, the problem was there was only one wireless signal going between each of them. That one wireless signal was also communicating data back and forth. So there was a lot of overhead on Wi-Fi extenders, which caused the extender to be useless. It was just too slow. By the time you sent the signal here to go there, the wireless signal had to go and had to do a handshake and say, hey, I have information for you. Where do you want me to send it? Okay, you want me to send it now? All this stuff is going on one wireless signal, which caused a lot of overhead. It was too much. So this right here is basically the setup here. And what I'm looking to do is to upgrade the Orbi because of the multiple devices. We have a lot of cameras, a lot of devices on the Wi-Fi right now. And I'm hoping that the latency is reduced. I really don't care about the speed. The speed tends to be pretty good internet-wise, but I'm hoping that the latency is going to be improved.
So will this replace the Orbi, or will this work in conjunction with the Orbi?
I could do either or, so it's going to depend how it works. So I'm going to connect this behind the Orbi, and hopefully that won't be a big deal. Maybe I'll connect the Orbi behind this. I'm not sure yet on that setup, but I'm going to try it out to see if it improves Wi-Fi signal within the home. Now, the only problem is that Wi-Fi 6, it's great, these Ethernet devices, but not many things support Wi-Fi 6 to take advantage of the Wi-Fi 6 bandwidth. Wi-Fi 6 technology. So my iPhone, the 11 Pro, and my iPad Pro, right now have Wi-Fi 6 built into it. In order to take advantage of the whole improvement of Wi-Fi 6, you have to have a Wi-Fi 6 capable device. So your laptop doesn't have it or whatever. But that being said, I'm looking to improve latency.
So the devices that can support Wi-Fi 6 will be using this, and then the devices that do not will automatically fall onto the
No, it'll be backward compatible. This will work just fine with Wi-Fi 5, or I should say non-Wi-Fi 6 devices. Your laptop will work just fine on it.
It just won't get the benefit of the extra speed.
The total benefit of Wi-Fi 6. Yeah, the speed, it won't do 9.6, it'll be 3.5.
So it'll be working at a Wi-Fi 5 capacity.
Yes, but hopefully the improvement will be in those devices will be the latency is what we have an issue here. Would you agree we have a latency issue?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm looking to improve in my Wi-Fi.
And this will improve latency on those devices. Why?
Yes. Oh, because of the technology behind it, the Wi-Fi 6 technology is made to be better at managing traffic.
But even though it's not, even on devices that cannot use the Wi-Fi 6 technology?
Yes, it'll still, the smarts are much smarter.
Okay.
I'm trying to see, since my Orbi is not that old, if it really makes a big difference in our network. So that's what I'm trying. Any other questions?
No.
All right, so let's set it up and I'll show you the way I'm setting it up. So before I move on, my wife asked a question and I have stopped the video. So she had asked me what was the difference between the Orbi now that we have, because it does have 3 signals, and this 3 signal eero. So I was explaining to her that the eero here, the 3 signals are usable by all users on the network, okay? Whereas the Orbi also has 3 signals, but only 2 of the signals are usable by users of the network. The third connection, because it's technically a tri-band, but they call it a mesh system, but one of the wireless signals is just dedicated to communication between the main base unit of the Orbi and the satellite base unit of the Orbi. No one can use that. No one but the actual devices. So the way eero, what they're doing is that they're allowing people to use and share one of these signals that they're using to communicate with each other also. So they kind of, I think it's one of their 5 gigahertz signals are being used to communicate between the devices, and then they're allowing traffic on it also. So that's the difference.
So each band is a signal?
Yes.
Okay.
Each band is a signal. So 2.4 will be if you go too far away, or if you're an old system. Old systems still only use 2.4. If you're a newer system, which I think most people are up to date, they're going to use the 5 gigahertz, which is shorter distance but higher bandwidth. But you can't be that far away from it. So if you're too far away, you're going to drop down to the 2.4, even if you can use 5. You understand?
Okay.
So it's a multiple of different, the actual units themselves will decide that. So that's what it is. Our Orbi has a dedicated third line just to communicate, and no one sees that. This one allows you to use all 3 signals instead of just having one dedicated just for communication. The new Orbi, which is very, very expensive, has a 4-stream for their Wi-Fi 6 unit, but it's $1,000, way more expensive. And they have not 3, but 4 signals. So they'll have these 3 here, plus an additional communication, a dedicated communication line, backhaul wireless line to each other. But this one's not too bad because of the fact that the backhaul could be put with the Ethernet cable. So you can use an Ethernet cable to replace that wireless dedicated communication, and Ethernet's always better and faster. So the Ethernet cable that I'm going to connect to one of these will act like a backhaul or a dedicated line, which will free up the 3 signals totally just for data. You understand?
Yeah. So is there a reason why you configured this like this way, and you can?
So that you can see this is communicating with this. Well, this one would communicate the same thing down here, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of the whole setup. That's what.
Okay, so this Ethernet backhaul right here reflects whatever connection in the back.
Yeah, well, that's giving you the information in regards to the device, you know, the eero device, that it's 6 gigahertz, it's, I'm sorry, future 6 gigahertz spectrum's coming out. The eero will be able to use that and take advantage of that. That'll be upgradable probably through firmware automatically. And when you have a device that can handle Wi-Fi 6, you'll see a huge, supposedly huge Wi-Fi signal increase and less latency and more throughput and less interference with devices and signals and microwave and cordless phones, if you remember those. So they'll be work better at keeping the signal dedicated to communicating with each other or on the internet. Also, I have this because I want to reduce the latency within my local network to access my NAS devices, which sometimes can be slow. So I'm hoping this helps with my Wi-Fi devices. All right, anything else? Nothing else. She's shaking her head now. Okay, I hope you got something out of that. All right, if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. Let's set it up. Again, one of the reasons I'm upgrading the network, or I'm trying to Wi-Fi 6, is to reduce latency. I'm hoping it's better. I have multiple Wi-Fi devices, smart devices that do different things. This is my oil gauge sensor. It's connected to my tank, and that tells me how much oil I have in my tank, and that works through Wi-Fi. It's battery operated. This is one ring camera, a third ring camera, a fourth ring camera, a sixth ring camera. This is my seventh ring camera, and I'm not going to keep on doing this. I have a total of 11 ring cameras. 8 Google Wi-Fi cameras, and 18 Wi-Fi Google Home Mini, which I use as a intercom system. Also, I use it to play music or to have it as an additional speaker when I'm playing music on my phone and I want it on one of these things. I have 3 of them, about 4 or 5 of them outside, a couple of them in the garage, and several of them in the home. I had done a video in regards to that, why I purchased so many. So I'm gonna try to use this thing to see if it reduces my latency, which is the biggest issue I have with my Wi-Fi because I have so many devices. So let's hope for the best. Let me set them up and let you know. So usually in a router, these indicators here show that it's just a basic Ethernet connection, so you could plug anything in. With the Orbi, it has a yellow one, and it has another icon which shows that it's for the ISP, for the internet connection from the modem. So this seems to work differently. I guess I'll see that on the software. I set this one up here. I was gonna designate this one the main one, but I don't think there is a main one. I'm not sure the way it works. Whereas with the Orbi, as you can see, one of the yellow area says internet, and then the other ones are the Ethernet. So I set it up. Let me see if I can get the icons. I can't see the icons. Anyway, that's the Orbi setup. So I set this up behind the Orbi. So I'm gonna get a private IP address as my main ISP, and then I'll just use another private IP to give out IP addresses for connecting to this device. And like I said, it's behind my Orbi. When I say behind my Orbi, I made the Ethernet connection here to the back of the Orbi, one of the ports right there. That's the connection there. That's what I mean when I say behind it. The thing is that it's not my main unit. Since I'm testing it, I don't want to start moving things around. This is my actual modem. So the modem's connected to the internet here, and then one of these switch ports I'm connecting to here. So whenever I'm requesting internet through here, it's gonna go from here to here and then through the modem and out to the internet. This is the second unit I set up. It's purple, so it's probably in setup mode. And I also set up a backhaul. So this is going to be either the backhaul or the way that hopefully the Ethernet would allow this device to communicate with the device I just showed you through the switch of the Orbi. So that'll be the backhaul, the black cable for this device to free up wireless signal. The third and final one is going to be wirelessly communicating with the other eeros. This is going to go in my garage. The other side of this door, my garage is about 15 feet away from that. So I'm kind of simulating it because I don't want to go outside right now. I want to make sure the communication is good so that if there's any updates or firmware updates, it's close enough to do that. And let's try it out. So now you're going to see the interface of the software for the eero. So after several days, 6-7 days of using the network, I had it behind my Orbi network, and then I actually shut my Orbi network down and just used this. It's a nice network. It works really, really well. I have no issues. I could see that it actually did improve if you have a Wi-Fi 6 capable device. It did improve performance and latency, but that was the problem. Most of my devices, like 90%, 95% of my devices, all use Wi-Fi 5 connections, or they're not capable of using the new Wi-Fi 6 standard. They're used to using the Wi-Fi 5 standard. So overall, there was no big benefit. I did see a reduction in latency, but not to the point where I can justify purchasing or keeping this item. It works well. I got to tell you, the software setup was so easy, probably the easiest thing I could use. And I will tell you that one of my biggest problems with my Orbi network is the app. The app has got to be, it used to be good, and now it just constantly, I don't even go to it anymore. I log in through the web page, and that allows me to do more detailed settings. So I do use my web browser and I connect to it. The app itself, what's nice about the Orbi app is that it lets you connect remotely if you're outside your network, but it never works. I'm always having issues. I have to uninstall the app, reinstall it. It's got issues. So I don't depend on apps. I like to log into the web interface, and that's another problem I have with this, is that this doesn't allow you to do that. I'm sure there's probably going to be a workaround, or there is a workaround to allow you to log in through the web interface. I find that the web interface gives you more details. You can do more things with it. I don't like app-only devices. Like the Google Wi-Fi system, they only use an app, and that I don't like it. I like to be able to get a little bit more detail and granular on the item, and I like to log in through the web browser. So this is but the app on this thing works really well. You cannot connect to the web, the address that it gave me for the actual main router, which is the default gateway, was 192.168.4.1, and whenever you type that into your web browser, it gave you an error, or it said, oops, not authorized. So I'm sure there's probably going to be a workaround in that one day, but for now you can't connect to it using that. The overall network itself works really well. The coverage was really good, but like I said, I have so many Orbis, I don't have coverage issues. I reach my network several hundred feet away from my home, so I don't have that issue. I was looking for latency improvements to my NASs within the local network, and it just wasn't enough to justify spending so much money on this item. Another thing is that I wish, there's the 6 gigahertz bandwidth. This one uses 2.5 gigahertz and one 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi band. There's supposed to be a 6 gigahertz, which is supposed to increase channels. The channels is where you communicate on, and one of the biggest problems with 2.4 is that there's a limited amount of channels, and that causes a lot of collisions within the Wi-Fi network. That's why sometimes you get Wi-Fi slowdowns in your home. 2.4 is notorious for that. When I first moved into my apartment in the city, there was barely any Wi-Fi around, so Wi-Fi wasn't an issue. But as Wi-Fi got more prominent and more people had it, it's almost impossible to use 2.4 without having any latency issues. The current location I'm at is at a home, so there's no issues with that. My neighbors really don't have, I have 2 neighbors, so there's not much interference at all. But I'm hoping that the 6 gigahertz band comes out, and I think when the 6 gigahertz band does come out, of what I'm reading about it, I will upgrade it. I will upgrade to that router, that new Wi-Fi 6 router, because of the fact that it will allow better latency, or lack of latency, or having no latency at all. More broad channels, more open channels, less collisions, less issues, and I think it might be even better in range. 5 gigahertz has a range issue. 2.4 it's much longer range. I think the 6 is supposed to be longer range. So I think I'm gonna wait for that. When the Wi-Fi 6 comes out with the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi band, that's probably when I'm going to definitely upgrade to this. So it will come out as a tri-band. You'll need a tri-band at 6 gigahertz because it's gonna look something like this. This is the current tri-band signal numbers. But when the 6 gigahertz bandwidth or Wi-Fi band comes out, of what I'm reading, it's going to be 6, 5, and 2.4, which will be excellent. I wish, another thing about this eero, I wish it had what the Orbi has, which is right now the same system made by Orbi, but it's a lot more expensive. It's $1,000 for 3 of them. The Orbi has 4 dedicated lines. The eero has 3, which is the 2.5 gigahertz and the 2.4 gigahertz. And I think it uses one of the 5 gigahertz wireless signal as its backhaul, or its communication between devices. So it opens up a line for communication with users, data, the web pages, plus for information to go back and forth between the eero. So if this is wirelessly plugged in somewhere in your home and you're connected to this eero, one of these 5 gigahertz signals, when you're looking for a web page, the signal will be sent wirelessly to this eero and so on until it gets to the modem and back again. It does the same thing. With Orbi, not only do they have all 3 signals dedicated just to data, but they have a backhaul or a dedicated signal to make the communication back and forth between the devices. What that allows is that there's less overhead on the signals being used by the user. It's a dedicated line. One interesting thing I learned about the Orbi and what I was reading about it with the new Orbi, which is very expensive, and that might be something I'm going to be more interested in the future than the eero. Nothing against eero, it's just because of what they're offering. They said that the eero itself, you can backhaul it by physically plugging in a wire and plugging it into your network, and that would play this backhaul communication. It would free up the signals. But a lot of us, everything's wireless, so a lot of us don't have Ethernet cables all over the home. So what I was reading about the Orbi is that the backhaul actually is faster than if you physically plugged in if you made a physical connection with an Ethernet cable on the Orbi as a backhaul between the devices. So that was strange. They said that the backhaul wireless signal on the Orbi is better using the wireless than physically providing a Ethernet cable as the backhaul connection. So that was really interesting. But anyway, like I said, that's what I'm more interested in. And I'm also going to wait until the 6 gigahertz bandwidth. I think it's supposed to come out. So, you know, I'm a regular user. I'm just going by what I read, documentation, different user information on the internet. I used to work in the IT field. We didn't do wireless. Everything for us was Ethernet connections. Everything had an Ethernet cable for security reasons. As I was leaving my employment, they were switching over to Wi-Fi. They were doing Cisco Wi-Fi systems. Now you want to get some detailed Cisco Wi-Fi. Cisco Wi-Fi when I left, which was about 8 years ago. Cisco Wi-Fi networks are awesome. It's amazing. You can do anything on them. You could even take over other Wi-Fi devices, which is illegal. So don't do that if you have a Cisco device. But that was really interesting, the power of the Cisco Wi-Fi system. But we're talking about thousands of dollars of equipment. As for this, like I said, it's just not for me yet. I couldn't see the improvement. Not yet. There is an improvement, but not for the cost, since I already have an Orbi and it already has a dedicated backhaul, and the way my current system works is just has, oh, I should just do this. That's what it looks like. It has a 2.45 and a backhaul, and it's working okay. I just can't justify the $600 cost for the eeros, not right now. Not to overhaul and redo my whole network. I just can't see the total benefit. My biggest issue here at this location is the internet service. We only have one internet provider. They only provide 100 down and 20 up, and it actually goes down. My Fing reports, my Fing, F-I-N-G, monthly reports, I'm getting some months 70% uptime, and I think the last for October was 90%. When I worked in the industry, you needed to have the 5 nines, which is 99.999% of the time up. I'd settle for 98, maybe even 96, but the internet here does go up and down, and I'm sure many people have that type of internet. So again, I'm no expert, it's just my opinion. I like it. If you can afford it, awesome. I'm just not gonna redo and reset. I have too many cameras and everything. Unless it's mind-blowing difference, I'm not gonna start switching everything over to the new Wi-Fi system. The app is amazing. The scanning of devices, the control of each devices, the blocking of devices, the different blocking features on the app. The app is amazing. Real easy to set up the network. It took me a few minutes and it was already up and running. Everything works really, really well. I have absolutely no issues with the setup. It's probably the easiest system to set up I have ever set up, put it that way, using the app. They're usually clunky. Even the Google Wi-Fi was clunky and difficult, and it was resetting and no, I plugged this in and boom, I already had it within 5 minutes up and running. So the app, kudos, works really well, and it gives you a lot of control on the devices, so you can shut off and turn on people's different devices. You could block them, you could keep them from getting on the internet. There's a lot of control there. They also offer even more control and additional security features. I'm not big on those things, but if you want them, you can have them. They're pretty cool. So the app itself, it gives you a lot of options, and you get a lot of control within the app itself. But again, I hope that they allow me to get in through the website or the web page. I like that. It just, that's what I'm used to. All right, I hope you like the video. I hope it helps. And again, I'm just a regular guy just giving you my opinion. Thank you. Bye.
eero Pro 6 AX4200 Tri-Band Wi-Fi 6 Mesh Wi-Fi System, 3-pack, model K010311 SKU, 6,433,414 date, November 14, 2020. Cost, $599. Purchased at Best Buy's website. Overview. Description. eero Pro 6 is the most powerful eero yet. The 3-pack Wi-Fi 6 system offers speeds up to a gigabit and coverage up to 6,000 square feet. So you can say goodbye to dead spots and buffering. Work, play, video conference, and stream from anywhere in your home, even when the whole family is online. Set up eero in minutes and get automatic updates, a built-in smart home hub, and more. Powered by TrueMesh, eero optimizes your Wi-Fi to work for your space and supports 75+ devices. Features: whole home Wi-Fi 6 coverage, Tri-band with coverage up to 6,000 square feet and speeds up to a gigabit. Say goodbye to dead spots and buffering. Eero's true mesh technology intelligently routes traffic to reduce drop-offs so you can confidently stream 4K video, game, and video conference. More Wi-Fi for more devices. Wi-Fi 6 delivers faster Wi-Fi with support for 75+ devices simultaneously. Setup in minutes. The eero app walks you through setup and allows you to manage your network from anywhere. Built-in Zigbee Smart Home Hub. Eero Pro 6 connects compatible devices on your network with Alexa, so there's no need to buy separate smart home hubs for each device. What's included? 3 Eero Pro 6. 3 power adapters. 1 Ethernet cable. Amazon Eero Pro 6 Tri-Band Mesh Wi-Fi 6 system with built-in Zigbee Smart Home Hub, free pack. Introducing the fastest Eero ever, the Eero Pro 6 system covers up to 6,000 square feet with Wi-Fi speeds up to a gigabit. Say goodbye to dead spots and buffering. Our true mesh technology intelligently routes traffic to reduce drop-offs so you can confidently stream 4K video, game, and video conference. More Wi-Fi for more devices. Wi-Fi 6 delivers faster Wi-Fi with support for 75+ devices simultaneously. Setup in minutes. The Eero app walks you through setup and allows you to manage your network from anywhere. Plus, free customer support is available 7 days a week. Built-in Zigbee Smart Home Hub. Eero Pro 6 connects compatible devices on your network with Alexa, so there's no need to buy separate smart home hubs for each device. Gets better over time. Automatic updates keep your network safe and secure. Easily expand your system. With cross-compatible hardware, you can easily add Eero products as your needs change. Give your home the connectivity it deserves. Say goodbye to dead spots and buffering, even when the whole family is online. As you add more devices, your connection stays strong and doesn't slow you down. Why Wi-Fi 6? Eero Pro 6 uses the power of Wi-Fi 6 to deliver faster speeds to every corner of your space, increase your internet's efficiency, and reduce network congestion. Easy to set up and use steps to set up Eero. Unlock your Wi-Fi's potential with a built-in Zigbee Smart Home Hub. Eero Pro 6 connects compatible devices to Alexa so you can control lights, locks, plugs, and more. Home Wi-Fi just got more secure. Eero Secure gives your family essential tools like threat scans, content warnings, and ad blocking. Upgrade to Eero Secure Plus to get an exclusive bundle of top-rated security apps, Encrypt.me, 1Password, and Malwarebytes. Get a free 30-day trial to Eero Secure with every Eero Pro 6 purchase. Simply start your subscription in the Eero app. Works with Alexa. With Eero Pro 6 and an Alexa device, not included, you can easily manage Wi-Fi access for devices and individuals in the home, taking focus away from screens and back to what's important. Technical details. Eero Pro 6 System. Eero Pro 6 System. Title: Amazon Eero Pro 6 Mesh Wi-Fi System. Wi-Fi coverage. Covers up to 6,000 square feet. Type: Router, connects to modem as primary router. Wireless network speed. Best for internet speeds up to a gigabit. Wi-Fi connectivity. Wi-Fi 6 Tri-Band Concurrent 2.2.4, 802.11ax, compatible with older Wi-Fi standards. Wired connectivity. 2 auto-sensing gigabit Ethernet ports for WAN and/or LAN connectivity. Speed rating. AX4200. Smart home connectivity. Works with Alexa, Amazon Wi-Fi simple setup, 802.15.4 radio, Zigbee, Thread, Bluetooth Low Energy 5.0. Electrical rating. 100 to 240 volts AC, 50 to 60 Hz. Processor, memory, and storage. 1.6 GHz quad-core processor, 1 GB RAM, 4 GB flash storage. Network security and services. WPA3, WPA2, profiles, cloud connectivity, TLS v1.2+, ICE, SHA-256, RSA, DHCP, IP6, NAT, VPN pass-through, UPnP, port forwarding, and static IP. Required for setup. Supported iOS or Android device and internet service, with cable or DSL modem, if required. See requirements. Temperature rating. Operating, 0C40C. Storage, 25C60C. Operating humidity, 0% to 90%, non-condensing. Operating altitude, less than 3,000 meters. Dimensions. 5.6 in x 5.4 in x 1.9 in, 142mm by 138mm by 48mm. Warranty and support. 1 year limited warranty. Free customer support is available. 7. Specifications. Key specs. Wi-Fi mesh system. Yes. Number of Wi-Fi satellites included. 2. Number of LAN ports. 2. Wi-Fi speed. 1000 megabits per second. General. Product name. eero Pro 6 AX4200 Tri-Band Wi-Fi 6 Mesh Wi-Fi System 3-pack. Brand. eero. Model number. K010311. Color category. White. Security. Data encryption. Yes. Encryption type. WPA3 personal, WPA2 PSK. Firewall type. NAT. Parental controls. Yes. Network. Band technology. Tri. Ethernet standard. 10/100/1000. Frequency band. 2.4 GHz, 5.2 GHz 5.8 GHz wireless networking standard Wi-Fi 6 wireless standard AX, AC, and input/output technology MU-MIMO, multi-user multiple input multiple output, Wi-Fi mesh system. Yes. Number of Wi-Fi satellites included. 2. Number of Wi-Fi satellites supported. 32 wired backhaul. Yes. Routing protocol DHCP compatible wireless standards AX, AC, and Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 5 certifications and listings. Energy Star certified. No features. Beamforming. Yes. Wireless. Yes. Ports. Number of WAN ports. 2 port types. USB, RJ45. Number of LAN ports. 2 speed. Wired speed 1000 megabits per second. Wi-Fi speed 1000 megabits per second. Compatibility. Bluetooth enabled. Yes. Dimension. Product height 5.3 inches. Product length 5.3 inches. Product width 2.1 inches. Product weight 1.5 pounds. Warranty. Manufacturer's warranty. Parts. https://eero.com/legal/warranty. Manufacturer's warranty. Labor. https://eero.com/legal/warranty. The other UPC 840,080,534,527.